Hey folks, this is BestInSlot with a brand new surprise feature focus for Jurassic World Evolution 2. We've got a few new screenshots, we've got the reveal of the 5th biome, finally we know what it is, and we've got a little cheeky something else. We'll talk about that in just a second. We're going to go through it bit by bit. It's basically going to talk about each individual biome as we go. We're just going to start here past the introduction. Jurassic World Evolution 2 will let you build dinosaur parks and facilities across a wide range of environments. All modes will let you experience different environments and settings as you play, and the environments will all have their own characteristics and scenery, making them feel distinct and unique from each other. There are also different kinds of decorative rocks, shrubberies and vegetation that come with each environment. You can use these to add a little something extra to your parks. So we're going to kick things off with number 1, which is of course the desert environment, and that is the lovely Jurassic Park San Diego amphitheater from the Chaos Theory mode. Now I do want to apologise very quickly, the screenshots provided are very low quality. Frontier, if you're watching, please start including big screenshots. That would be lovely, thank you, because I'm sure you have this in nice high quality, but for some reason we get a teeny tiny one on the website. Anyways, let's check out the text. Obviously we've seen this before, so nothing new visually. The desert environment will be the first place you go when you start up Jurassic World Evolution 2's campaign mode. You will also be able to build a desert park in Sandbox, Challenge and Chaos Theory modes. It's inspired by the real-life Sonoran Desert with its dry climate and flat terrain. Expect to see a lot of cacti and shrubs that would usually thrive in a desert environment alongside dirt, sand and the occasional rock and tumbleweed. There won't be a lot of rain, but you may be forced to tackle the odd sandstorm, which can gum up the works on your vehicles and cause a bit of damage. You'll see the sandstorm coming in, growing in density as it whips up the dirt and sand around your dinosaurs and buildings. Now actually in the Jesse Cox gameplay, I believe they actually saw a sandbox. I was never lucky enough to have one ravage me while I was playing in Chaos Theory mode, but it's a nice little, slightly less damaging than, you know, the twisters and stuff from the past, but it'll ruin your vehicles a little bit, do a little bit of damage to your buildings, cause a little bit of havoc. I'm sure it'll agitate your dinosaurs as well. I like the idea of a tumbleweed. Maybe they'll add in like occasional rolling tumbleweeds. That would be cool. Is it really a tumbleweed if it doesn't tumble? That's my question. Let's move on and check out the next one. Environment number 2 is the Tiger environment. I will say Tiger instead of Taiga, although Taiga sounds better in my opinion, but the Tiger environment. We have seen this one before with its lagoon and its aviary, and of course over here the suspicious dinosaurs that look somewhat like a Giganotosaurus and a Dreadnoughtus. Still not confirmed, but definitely hinted at. Nothing else to see there though, we've seen this before. Let's read about the environment. The Tiger environment is inspired by mountainous forests of British Columbia, Canada. You'll get to build and house dinosaurs in a tiger environment in campaign, sandbox and challenge mode. No Chaos Theory, you'll see. It's quite a different environment from the desert, offering shades of green and auburn pines, in addition to snow-covered peaks in the background. Expect sunshine and dense forestation around you as you build your parks and facilities. Tiger introduces one of the other new calamity types, snowstorms. When a snowstorm sweeps in over the area, you'll see thick flakes falling from the sky and snow piling up on the ground and on building surfaces. If you've ever wanted to see dinosaurs in the snow, this is the environment for you. I imagine someone doing finger guns at the end of that sentence. So the Tiger environment, I believe, is the Washington environment that we played with in the campaign. You will have seen that gameplay on my channel, and we did see a snowstorm. It reduced visibility massively in our vehicles. Again, I believe it agitated dinosaurs, made things very difficult to see, for guests in particular. I'm sure it'd be even more annoying. And yeah, that sounds good. It was a nice environment. It's definitely the desert and the tiger. These are the two that really mix things up in comparison to the first game. But this the next screenshot is the big one. So let's take a look at this screenshot right here. This is the temperate environment. And before we analyze the actual image, let's just read about this environment itself. As we continue our journey through Jurassic World Evolution 2's environments, we come to the temperate environment. Warmer than Tiger, but not as warm as the desert, it could very well be the perfect spot to build a dinosaur park or facility. You'll head into the temperate environment in campaign, challenge and sandbox mode. Again, no Chaos Theory, exploring it from different locations based on the mode. The temperate environment is characterised by lush and leafy trees and a warm sun shining down from the blue skies above. While there may be less snow, you should expect some mist, hype about that, and maybe the odd rainstorm. What you really need to be careful of though are the tornadoes. So the tornadoes from the tropical in the last game have come round now into the temperate in this game. Love the idea of some mist. I hope that isn't like a permanent thing, but I hope when it's there, it's quite strong, you know, so it's not always there, but when it comes in, it kind of like glides over the landscape and it's really intense and spooky. Now, let's take a look at this image, because it is a new image. There's a little herd of dinosaurs over here, which people have been talking about on the Discord. I just want to clarify something very quickly, that these are clearly Parasaurolophus. Don't know why it's being discussed. Like, it's just clearly a herd of parasaurs. But the much more interesting part of this image is over here. I'm just going to zoom in on that for you folks. What does that look like? Because that to me looks like a fin. I am 100% sure that it's a fin. That is what it is, and it has this kind of shape. You can see it kind of cuts in. Okay, that looks very weird, but it is. I mean, it's basically that kind of shape, right? It's a fin. Now, the interesting thing is, there aren't really any sizable creatures in the game at the moment. Aquatics, it should be said, with a fin, unless the unseen Leopleurodon has a fin for some reason, or the what's the other one? Or for some bizarre reason they've given the Elasmosaurus a fin, which would be an odd creative decision. I think this could be a new aquatic. Little post-recording edit here as well. Just want to say I saw some suggestions on the subreddit that this could be the tail of a Mosasaurus. And that's what we're seeing. I think when you look at them directly against each other, however, it's very clearly not part of the Mosasaurus. It has an entirely different shape. Just wanted to sneak that in there. Now, I want to tone down the hype very quickly, because some people will see this and think shark. Because naturally, we associate fins like this with a shark. I don't think it's Megalodon. I don't think we're getting sharks. I think maybe down the line, you know, there'll be a lot of fan pressure for that. Maybe it's something we'll get in a future pack. But the website does specify reptiles, and I think they'll stick to that. But what I think we're seeing is maybe the 8th aquatic species, and that we're going to get even one more. And that what this might be is a larger species of ichthyosaur. There are quite a few ichthyosaurs out there that are depicted as having a dorsal fin of some description, and actually the Ichthyosaurus in the game already does have a dorsal fin. However, given the size of the fin in the water, given how prominent it is against the size of the lagoon, it's definitely not humongous whatever this animal is, but the Ichthyosaurus is what looks to be the smallest aquatic creature in the game, at least from the ones we've seen so far. And I suspect that fin would be too big to be the Ichthyosaurus. I would suggest that fin is too big to be the Ichthyosaurus. It's too prominent, it sticks up a little bit too much, and I always felt it, I mean, we know about 7 aquatics already, it's quite a lot, but I always thought it was a bit weird that we keep getting all these new aquatics and none of them are ichthyosaurs other than the one that we've already got. And it seems unlike Frontier, it seems unlike any logical game developer really, that they've made this animation set in this rig for this ichthyosaurus, and then they're only going to use it on the ichthyosaurus. It always made sense to me that we would get a second, probably larger species of ichthyosaur like Shonisaurus or something. Shonisaurus actually might be too big to be this. Shonisaurus is absolutely gigantic, but they could have scaled it down a bit. Shoni is often not depicted with a dorsal fin as well, as we've mentioning, but Ophthalmosaurus, there's tons of ichthyosaurs out there, and I think that's what we're seeing. I think we are getting a little tease of the potential 8th aquatic species. I really feel this game's going to have a lot more creatures than we expected, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, we could get too caught up on that. I'm going to move on and finish the rest of the video. This is our 4th biome then. This is the tropical biome. Really is a terrible quality screenshot. It wouldn't quite be an authentic Jurassic World gaming experience without a tropical environment. Inspired by the Hawaiian islands of Oahu and Kauai? The tropical environment isn't featured in the campaign, which makes sense. We know we're staying mainly on mainland America, North America specifically, but will depict Isla Nublar and Sorna in Chaos Theory and Sandbox mode. But no mention of challenge, interestingly enough. As you would expect, this environment is sunny and quite warm, offering up a beautiful climate for both your guests and dinosaurs. Be mindful there's a potential for tropical storms and hurricanes. Heavy swirling rain will come blowing in on howling winds, causing damage to its surroundings. Don't forget to keep some extra shelters open, just in case. A hurricane is essentially a very, very intense tropical storm. Massive howling winds, loads of damage and stuff like that. So really interesting, and notice it says heavy swirling rain and howling winds. That's very typical hurricane kind of stuff. So interestingly, not only have the tornadoes moved on to the temperate. It actually seems they've been moved out of the tropical and they are now contained to the temperate. So we've got snowstorms in taiga, we've got sandstorms in desert, we've got hurricanes in tropical, we've got tornadoes in temperate, and of course we have one more environment to go. The fifth and the final and a brand new environment is this one. And it's the Alpine environment. Let's just read about this before we talk. Finally, there's the Alpine environment. Large mountains tower over green hills and valleys, and a bright sun shines down from a blue sky in this Yellowstone-inspired environment. You'll get to play around in the Alpine environment in campaign, challenge, and sandbox mode. The Alpine environment's bright sunshine is broken up now and again by some light rain, and you may need to contend with the odd snow and rainstorm when building in this environment. So... I mean, I'll just do a comparison. That's taiga, that's Alpine. Yeah, this is kind of my problem with it's a bit of a shame that Alpine has made it in as the final environment. It is very thematically similar to the taiga. They are different slightly. I'd associate Alpine. The environment goes up. It's quite a steep hill. We've got this kind of rocky outcrop here. There's definitely more height variation here than there is over in the... Sorry, my throat just exploded. There's definitely more height variation here than there is over in the taiga biome. There's also some slightly different trees. We've got these really interesting looking ones here, but they look very dried out, slightly dead looking, or just trees that are maybe very well built to survive these high, slightly colder temperatures. You can see lots of these skinny trees, lots of very thin ones, which is often what you get in this kind of height, compared to the taiga, which does have some fluffier, more ground level foliage. But it's not really that different, let's be honest. It's not a swamp or something like that, which would have been more exciting. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. This is a little disappointing. However, what I suspect its main purpose is going to be is kind of like an introductory zone, almost, for... I mean, we're starting off in taiga, but maybe for the easier challenge missions or something like that. Because by the sounds of this description, you're not going to be competing as much with, these disasters. There's some light rain, odd snow and rainstorm. It's very much chill compared to the tropical hurricanes and stuff like that. It sounds quite relaxed to build on compared to the other environments, so maybe that's why it's in the game. Maybe they just couldn't think of a suitable fifth either. We would have loved the swamp, but I was very suspicious we were never going to get it, given the state of dinosaur swimming in the game and the lack of swamp-esque creatures, I suppose. So yeah, a bit of a shame for the fifth, but is what it is. At least we finally know. We know all 5 biomes coming to the game, and it is worth mentioning that as much as this is a little bit even if we'd only got 4, and it was those 4 we already had, those 4 are all very tonally different. They all feel very different. They all have their own unique, disasters and unique things going on. That's why this one feels a bit weird, because not only is it thematically very similar to the taiga, it also doesn't have a new disaster, whereas all the other 4 have a new disaster going on. So this one feels a bit unnecessary in a way, but it's another option. Maybe some people will prefer it to this one. It definitely feels a little greener, a little livelier than the taiga does, which is quite cold looking. You see this is quite lush and verdant in some ways. So, if people prefer it, then it's not really it's not a bad thing at the end of the day, by any stretch of the imagination. But really, this is the kicker. Anyways, discuss the fin and the 5th biome down below. Let me know what you think. Which biome are you most excited to play in? Personally, I've got to say, temperate is where I'll probably be spending most of my time. But I am very excited to check out these hurricanes as well. And see some snowstorms as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.